when you see motherfuckers clown people that are actually trying, bro, I'm telling you, it's just, you gotta clown those motherfuckers instead, bro. Because those people just make it so much harder for those people to feel comfortable doing it online. And that's honestly part of the price is like, if you succeed as a content creator, you have to go through so many people judging you, making fun of you, hate comments, negativity, all the above, and you got to persevere through it to finally get your spot. You know what I mean? So even that kind of adds the point to where I don't know if you guys have seen, but a lot of people have been debating like 9 to 5 versus like being a streamer, like what's harder? You know what I mean? Actually, I want to pull that up real quick because the Kodak stuff, like it is funny, but obviously if he's going through stuff, I don't want to say anything about it, right? Like I don't want to fucking highlight that or nothing, even though it's been highlighted. But hold up. But there's 3 clips on it. CashNasty, Dante, and Max. Let me peep. Okay, so Max said this. I didn't even see Max's clip actually, but let me see what Max said.
A streamer or any face on
Caption of this is Blackboy Max claims that being a streamer is harder than a 9-to-5 job and that no one truly understands what a top streamer goes through mentally.
Is harder than a 9-to-5 in certain ways because it f***s you up mentally. Now, waking up every day and go to a job and lifting boxes, like depending on what you're doing, that's tough too. That's just hard. That's very hard. That's just very hard. It's very hard. Like, you feel me? Especially when you're doing a job you don't enjoy doing. That's tough. That's what'll f*** with your mental. You might want to, you feel me? You might be tired of it. You might be unhappy. But being a face, like being a top streamer, is difficult because of all the shit you go through in terms of like living life. I promise. I'm telling you, gang. You are literally seeing thousands of give their thoughts on you every second. That's not supposed to be. Like, no human brain normally should be able to tolerate that. Just keep it a buck. It's not true. You feel me? Facts. I'm telling the truth. Most of y'all cannot understand what I'm saying.
Okay. Before I give my opinion, I just want to hear what they said. CashNasty said, this is facts. When I was a top streamer, it was taxing on the mental way more. Working 9-to-5, you get to turn it off. But when under the spotlight, there is no turning it off. Not to mention the expectations. I worked at 9-to-5 from the age of 15 and was side hustling. Picking pecans, worked my way up to salary manager at Walmart. It was a grind, but it's not so much just on the mental to being under the spotlight. People see the status and might don't see what's going on behind the curtains of the show, which I do agree with that, right? And then Dante says, streaming is way harder than 9-to-5. I don't care. Be mad about it. You've never even streamed a day in your life. Don't speak about something you never experienced. Is way harder than it looks. And I have 2 different opinions on that. You know, like, one is obviously the difficulty barrier on entering. It would obviously be a top streamer because it's hard. Like, there's way less people doing that, way more people doing 9-to-5s. And I'm specifically talking about the difficulty barrier on getting that job. If it was so easy to be a streamer, everybody here would be a streamer, right? Every single person here would be a streamer. Even me. Like, I've had a good YouTube career, but I can't just start streaming and become a big streamer off rip. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, it's harder to have to work for less when you know you're working for multi-billion-dollar corporations. And these people, like a lot of them, I would say it's harder to manage the momentum as you go up. Because I do get it. You constantly have to be talked about. People have to always remember you. Always have to do something worth talking about. So that's why, you know, people get big on stream. It's like you always have to keep up with the relevancy of it. So I can understand how that's taxing. People constantly talking about you. People constantly start trying purposely to misunderstand you and your point and whatnot. And you're constantly subjected to so much, right? But you do get paid adequately for it. So that is like where I feel like a lot of the payment in that career is worth it. Is like you get paid that much to deal with all that criticism, right? And I think it's harder in the beginning, but once you get to a certain point, it's relatively easy. You know what I mean? Like, I would imagine the 10,000 hours it took for a lot of these streamers to get to the top. It was hard building your way up, going through nobody believing you, everybody down you, everyone talking shit. But then when you get there, it's relatively easy to keep that momentum going. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you have a good thing, you know, going on for you. It becomes relatively easy. But obviously, it's harder to get into that space. You know what I mean? Because not everybody can be a big streamer. Not every single person. Yeah, but you can break your leg and you keep streaming, but when you get a 9-to-5, it does, you can't. I agree. I do. That's what I'm saying. It's not black and white like that. There are so many different variables that go into it. And also, 9-to-5 isn't a singular job. Because, yes, you can. If you have a 9-to-5 from home where you're on the laptop, of course you still break your leg and do your 9-to-5. You know what I'm saying? The 9-to-5 isn't just working at a retail store. There's many different 9-to-5s. There's too many fucking 9-to-5s. So it's not just one thing, right? So again, people are being way more subjective about it because most people do relate to having a 9-to-5, but I don't think it's an end all be all. One is easier than the other. It's different. It's different. Like, one is, I guess you could say, objectively easier because you don't have to do as much, but they also don't understand all the struggles and variables that come with that. But then the other side might not understand that either, right? I technically have worked both. I was never a streamer, but YouTuber, yeah. And at a certain point, I thought it was so easy to do what I was doing. Obviously, it was hard to keep up essentially had to sacrifice my entire childhood. All I did was make 3 videos a day. Even when I lived in New York, all I would do, like I said, I had 30 minutes of Family Guy a night. I committed the rest of my life to simply recording, editing, uploading. That's what I was doing for years, bro. I did not take a vacation. Even the one time I did take 1 week of vacation, I vlogged every single day that I was doing it. Yeah, one's physically taxing, the other one's mentally taxing. I could agree. And a lot of people don't understand that how mentally taxing that shit is, right? Because when you leave your 9 to 5, you're not thinking about that shit no more. As soon as you step out at 5, that shit off your mind. You know what I'm saying? And from 5 to 12, you're thinking about everything else. And then when 9 starts back up, you back in that bitch, right? But when you working as a content creator, it's like 24/7. You're opening Twitter, people talking about you, constant people talking about you, right? And then a lot of these people, they'll open social media after the 9 to 5 and just talk about everybody else. You know what I'm saying? For some people, that's not true though. What are you talking about? Just be grateful you have a job, but at the same time, take care of yourself. I agree. But at the end of the day, it's like a lot of these people, like I can't, depending on the age, obviously, it's not black and white, but I was supposed to work at Dollarama, if you guys know what that is in Canada. That was, my mom worked there, my stepdad worked there, my sister worked there. I was next up. I said, fuck y'all, I'm not doing that shit. And because I was so young and I saw them all work 9 to 5s, and I realized that you couldn't make more money doing it, I had to go extra hard with the YouTube shit. You know what I'm saying? Extra fucking hard. Because I'm like, ain't no fucking way I'm going to do that shit. I don't work at a fucking dollar store. Fuck no. So I had to make it work, right? But to be fair, I was younger. When I say I got lucky with my career, the only luck was that I was younger. You know what I mean? I had more time to burn. I actually think every person who's that young needs to just be working, bro. From, like I said, stop being a kid at 13. From 13 to 18, start working on something. So by the time you turn 18, you don't got to go to college. You don't got to get a job. You already made some motion for yourself, and you can start scaling that. Then you spend 18 after scaling what you worked on from 13 to 18. You know what I'm saying?